I found Josh's presentation to be compelling, accessible, and relevant for parents of kids really of all ages. This is a great presentation for parents, for educators, and for anybody who's just in the life of children.
And the reality is you're walking a tightrope. On the one hand, it's, do I be more strict? Do I put limits, accountability, structure, rules, boundaries? On the other hand, where do I let go? And sometimes you may feel off balance, but it's kind of what happens when you're on a tightrope.
I thought the presentation that I attended was fantastic. It was a great validation of some things that I hoped that I was doing right, with some really great practical advice for things that I can apply to living with and trying to raise healthy teenagers.
The strength of your relationship. It's the single most important variable that you have. It's hard enough to get them to do what you want them to do when they're sitting right next to you, let alone when they're up in their room or they're out with their friends. And then you can't control their behavior at all. If they have a strong connection with you, if they feel connected, there's no guarantees, of course, but you at least stack the deck in your favor that they're going to make the kind of choices you would hope they would make when you're not around. The most important thing is, do they perceive that the relationship is strong? You may think the relationship is strong all day long, but if they don't feel like they can come talk to you and they can trust that you're going to be fair and that you're going to listen and that they're not going to get judged, you have to question whether or not the relationship is as strong as you think it may be.
I've been teaching in psychology for decades, and Josh is wonderful. He not only is consistent with the science, but he's warm and welcoming and engages parents. He connects with people in a real way that you can take something home from the talk. It was great.
But a lot of what this is really about is sorting through what are rights and what are privileges. If you think about it, the list of rights that teens have, it's a pretty short list. Food, clothing, shelter, medical care, education, love. Anybody got anything else? I think that's about it. Xbox is not on that list, right? Xbox is a privilege. Whether we realize it or not, you are still the #1 role model in their life. And I know sometimes it's easy to forget, particularly with a teenager, especially if they're blowing you off and they say they want to have nothing to do with you some days. You are still the #1 role model. And so you have to model for them about how to respond to stress in life and still be able to keep your cool. You have to model for them how you can have a bad day and have a fight with a friend and still bounce back from it and it not be such a big deal. You are modeling so much for them just in the way that you handle just day-to-day issues and day-to-day stress.
I really got the sense from Josh that he cares about the child and the parent and fostering the relationship between the two. It was really refreshing to hear how easy he makes such a complex subject sound.
Them getting that blessing from you, feeling that unconditional love, feeling you being proud of them, and being able to say that to them, and then being able to feel that, even if you've had disagreements, even if you're unsure about the path they're walking down, if you can set all that aside and see them for who they are, it's probably the most meaningful thing you can do for your child.